I set out with the intention of finishing this much earlier, but unfortunately I got sidetracked by the W4NK3R gear set project. And I've also had a very busy week. Okay, I'll admit, the nurses on the ward have been limiting my internet access, and some might say for good reason. I seriously considered doing an April Fool video for you, but I decided against it for several reasons. The main one being that my videos are already so fucking surreal and sarcastic that nobody would be able to tell a difference anyway, not even me. I've also generally found April 1st videos a little unnerving, because they're like those World War II undersea mines that persisted for decades after the war ended. They float out there in the sea of the internet, just waiting to blow up some hapless cunt who happens to bump into them. Months from now, some poor sod would have stumbled onto it and either unwittingly absorbed a bunch of totally incorrect factoids, or more likely watched the video and assumed I'm a fucktard. Let's face it, people only check to see if it's an April Fool video for 1 week a year. The rest of the time, it's just lurking around in the ether, like a misinformation booby trap. I did have a few mildly humorous fake announcements lined up for the video though. Things like, I've been asked by a local college to teach Photoshop skills once a week. I've got a sponsorship deal with a company that sells anal bleach. I decided that I'm going to stop swearing on my YouTube channel. Christ, just saying that out loud makes me feel dizzy. I also had some totally fucking hysterical joke announcements to make. Like, I got invited to the next Elite Task Force. Ubisoft is introducing robust anti-cheat in the Division next week. And my personal favourite, they finally fixed the revive bug and medkits. Although, I have to admit, the last 3 jokes scored so highly on the weird shitometer that the only people likely to believe them would have to be suffering from carbon monoxide poisoning or a serious head trauma. Well, let's take a quick look at my highlights of this week's State of the Game and see how Year 2 content is shaping up.
I fucked up. I completely fucked up. You had one job, Yannick. Hello.
How's it going? Can we go there? I've emailed our friend. Cut the crap and get on with it. Yes. Okay. Hi. That's all I've got for an intro. We're going to use our powers for good today. Which gear set do you guys think is in most need of a rebalance? I gave myself Build of the Week this week.
Because that can be a rebalance or like revamp.
Here's what's going to happen. In a few seconds, you're going to see a link in chat. Okay? And then you can start voting. And for the next 20 minutes, this poll will be open.
Unless it doesn't work.
Yes, start the poll. There it is. Okay. Can you just mouse off so make sure that you vote rebalancing? I can almost touch it. Perfect. All right.
And finally had a look at medkit, and we buffed the medkit.
Yeah. Oh, that's all. Really? So airburst is
nerf the airburst. The damage is not nerfed. It's just it's a bit of a nerf in PvP.
Sniper is a word, right?
Deadeye needs a nerf. Leave Deadeye alone.
Neutralize them. Someone says they've got all their weapon talents activated. Fuck. Okay, this is an R18 channel. I'm allowed to swear a little bit sometimes. What does quality stand for? Quality update 1.6.1. Yeah. And we're looking at May.
Smaller updates and quality updates, but bug fixing, balancing, and quality of life improvement. PTS, the bug fixing on the
balancing, bug fixing, and
a vinyl.
Vanilla? We are giving away a vinyl. This.
This state of the game is a joke. All right.
Your mum's a joke.
Whoa! You're welcome to watch something else.
I like your mum, don't worry about it. Whoa. Build of the week. Return of Predtronics. A Predator's Mark skill build. See?
Even we can hear it.
There you go.
Boom.
Hunter's Faith. Okay.
All right, let's nerf it.
That's not
that's not what this was about.
We didn't say nerf. We said rebalance.
We may be pathetic, but
yes,
still.
that is true. What a dick.
We're always doing it wrong.
Cool. Fine. Talking shit. Yeah. Oh man.
Quality update, bug fixing with some more balancing, bugs and balancing.
Yep. What about loadouts? Coming soon.
Yeah, you look at me, I have no idea.
All is well in the world.
Well, I'm not so convinced that Year 2 content is shaping up to be, and I quote Hamish here, a bevy of possibilities. I won't lie, that montage made itself. I spent hours sifting through that footage trying to cobble together something remotely funny, and then a point came when I suddenly noticed it was easier to edit the gaps together than the content. I genuinely feel sorry for Hamish and Yannick, and for once I'm not being sarcastic. I was laughing the first time I watched that through, but it was bittersweet. I just don't know how they're going to keep up the state of the game for the next year with nothing much more than bug fixes to talk about. I mean, fuck. When your entire show gets upstaged by a piece of artwork that a fan sent in, then frankly, it's time to go back to the Acme drawing board and figure out another way to ambush the Roadrunner. On the plus side, we got to see some very impressive artwork that was pyrographed by a fellow member of the Division community. Pyrographing is a process of burning inscriptions into wood and other materials and dates right back to the ancient Egyptians. I don't know much about art, but I know what I like. Basically, I'm a fan of any art form or creative endeavour that involves fire. So naturally, I immediately like this. Hell, I've made a few works of art myself over the years, but they've got put out by the fire brigade and the wrecks towed away by the police. At least, we also get a new buzzword, quality of life improvements. The hypnotic mantra of loadouts, bug fixes, feats and seasons has been slightly diluted by the addition of another buzzword. I have a wild and crazy suggestion for a quality of life improvement. How about adding some content and telling us what the fuck's going on in Year 2 and beyond? I keep hearing that Ubisoft can't share the key information for business reasons. That's their problem, not ours. We paid money for this game. We are their business. If there's some big secret master plan that they want to keep under wraps, then how about they quickly build some new gear sets and weapons to disguise this fact? It's worth noting that in a situation that might turn out to have major parallels with this game, Bungie seem to be setting a precedent by introducing a sequel, Destiny 2, where paid-for emotes that are entirely capable of being ported over are being withheld, so they can fleece all the players a second time over. If you can't give us reassurance, throw gear at us, so we get confused. We're gamers for fuck's sake. Throw some shiny new loot at our feet and for a few weeks we'll forget what we were thinking about. A quick and easy way to raise morale and distract people from the absence of transparency about the game would be to bust out a few new exotics and a couple of new gear sets. However, I'm guessing this solution is only easy if you have the available manpower to do the work, which I'm going to guess is tied up on other projects right now. We have a new player versus player mode, but not quite what we were asking for. In the new weekly game show, we can try and fuck over each other's gear sets. Welcome to the Nerfodrome. Well, everyone wanted a Battle Royale mode where it was every man for himself. Well, careful what you wish for. Now, every week, we get to vote on whose gear set is next on the chopping block. I have to admire the turn a problem into an opportunity attitude shown here. It's like having your hand cut off at work and your boss coming over and trying to cheer you up with tales about the workers' compensation and free medical care. Fucking awesome, I guess, but it's not going to help you open the jar of pickles on your own. The Nerfodrome appears to be an attempt to solve the problem of lack of Year 2 content. It's obviously dawned on someone that most of the state of the games for the immediate future are going to have very little to announce apart from bug fixes and nerfs, so they turned rebalancing into a game show to spice things up a bit. Now it's interactive nerfing entertainment. It appears someone took my joke about the Roman gladiatorial arena a little too literally. Now we are being offered a chance to select which gear set gets rebalanced. It might get nerfed, it might get a little buff. You don't get to choose, you only get to choose which gear gets to play Russian roulette. I'm not convinced that getting the players to vote to destroy other players' gear sets is really going to improve community cohesion in a game where the division is increasingly coming to symbolise the infighting between the PvE and PvP community. Having interactive votes to see who is next in front of the firing squad could end up pouring petrol on that fire. It's like the most fucked up game show on earth, where members of the audience get to vote on which of them get to go up on stage to receive either a few $20 bills or a bullet in the back of the head. It's one of the strangest combinations of concepts ever. It's like someone decided to mix The Price is Right with the movie Deer Hunter. Personally, I advise everyone to stoically vote for Alpha Bridge every fucking week for the rest of the year. It's already fucked. Better we sacrifice the weakest member of the tribe so the rest can survive the harsh winter. Dear fucking Lord in high heaven, please don't let Nerfadrome turn into a weekly bloodbath where everyone turns on each other to get each other's gear sets nerfed out of spite or revenge. It's great that they're trying to think of amusing ways to kill time during the predictably content-poor spring of State of the Game, but if you want to entertain us with pointless frivolity, how about we take a poll every week where we get to decide what costumes they have to wear? Next week, I'd vote to have Yannick dress up as a sexy maid and Hamish dress up as an Ewok. Sure, it won't do anything to help the game in Year 2, but it'll do a lot better job of distracting people than the Nerfadrome is doing. Fuck, it might even take off as its show in its own right. Joking aside, 10 out of 10 for effort on the entertainment front. I can respect their attempt to liven up proceedings a bit. But if they want people to vote on gear sets, then write in big letters whether we are voting to nerf or buff the gear. If they're not prepared to make the outcome clear from the outset, don't expect players to vote on gear in a blind auction. Better still, shit can the whole idea of weekly nerf votes and get some decent content on the table. The community managers need to have some very urgent conversations with the developers about pulling some world-class Year 2 content out of their fucking arses ASAP. The shitstorm about Year 2 content has been blowing up for weeks now, and the powers that be are sending these guys out in front of the cameras with nothing more than bug fixes and a 10% increase on a fucking medkit. Are you serious? Are you kidding me? Because I can see the funny side of it, but I bet they can't. If I was a community manager right now, I would be looking my boss in the eye and saying, are you seriously going to send me out in front of that mob again, week after week, with nothing? Before I wrap this up, I just want to say that I didn't intend this to take the slightly darker tone that it did. It's just tearing that footage apart led me to the conclusion that Yannick and Hamish are drowning out there. I know that community managers are technically just a special kind of public relations officer, and it's easy to forget that because they're also gamers, so we automatically assume they're part of our tribe. But let's not forget they are company spokesmen that operate from within the target audience, and there is a difference. I won't lie to you, if the state of the game is going to be a cycle of discussions about nerfs and bug fixes, there's only so long I can continue to re-edit this into something other than some kind of cure for insomnia or a cruel and slow crucifixion for the community managers. They need to go to their bosses and look them in the eye and ask them what the fuck they are thinking if they're going to push them out in front of the camera once a week, right up to the E3 reveal, with nothing to talk about. I'm very grateful for the suggestion from a couple of my subscribers about regularly covering the state of the game, and in principle, it's been an excellent idea. But in practice, unless there's some particular big announcement, it's going to turn into too much of a circus. But don't worry, there are plenty of other things that require my personal attention in the division. I just think that vilifying the state of the game every week would just be exacting retribution on people who aren't responsible for the decisions. And frankly, I'm not in the retribution business. Sure, it could be said that the more people who put pressure on them, then the more likely it is that better decisions will get made. And I agree. but I think there is already a fuck ton of industry-wide pressure on them. For me personally, lampooning the weekly address is starting to feel a bit like a kitten strangling competition. Don't get me wrong, I am fucking excellent at strangling kittens. And if there were a kitten strangling competition, I would like to think that I would be able to compete at a professional level. Okay, that all came out slightly weird. You all know that's a metaphor, right? Please don't hurt any kittens. The point I'm trying to make is this. Humour isn't funny when you're picking on the weak. And I'm very close to straying into that territory now. But don't worry, I'll be keeping an eye on state of the game and swinging by from time to time to bring you updates and my own special form of justice. Hopefully, soon they'll have something to announce that's worth a damn and worth reporting. But don't hold your breath. My final thought would be this. That exotic bolt-action sniper rifle that everyone, including myself, keeps banging on about is a barometer for what's going on in this game. If I see that turn up, then we know someone has pulled their heads out of their asses somewhere. Thanks very much for watching, and happy hunting.